TNA Wrestling heading to the Alamo City this weekend, Friday, Victory Road, and then Saturday, taping their hit TV series TNA Impact, which you can see Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on Access TV. They are doing all that at the Boeing Center at Techport in San Antonio. If you want to be in person, tickets, etix.com, etix.com. If you can't be there in person, check out Victory Road Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on TNA Plus. The main event for Victory Road for the TNA World Championship. And the two men that will be facing off for that prestigious title join me now on the hotline. First, he is a former multiple-time TNA and Impact World Champion. He's been on the show before. It's great to have him back. It is the one and only Moose. Moose, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm great. I'm relaxed, ready for this championship matchup against the great Nic Nemeth, part two. Yeah, I'm ready for it. I have the game plan to beat the man. I've done it before. I just got to repeat the same game plan, and hopefully it doesn't fail me. It's not going to fail me because I'm very confident in my abilities and my skill and in my plan. And I know Nic is going to change his game plan up because obviously his game plan didn't work last time. And we'll see what's going to happen.
Okay, well.
And the great state of Texas.
That's right. And speaking of Nic Nemeth, he joins us as well, the current reigning and defending TNA World Champion, as well as a former multiple-time World Heavyweight Champion in WWE. Nic, it's great to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I've been adamant about the TNA title being defended a little bit more than in Moose's case. His reign of terror, and I mean that in a very positive way. He was he was the man. He was the champ with the system having his back every step of the way. And I just didn't really like how so many times the system bailed him out and so many times the title wasn't on the line because he didn't want it to be on the line. And I might maybe possibly to a fault where I have a chip on my shoulder to where I want to constantly put the title on the line. I constantly want to steal the show. I constantly want to put on the best show possible for the fans. And that would explain probably why most of the shows are sold out these days. But also, I got to call it what it is. I have not pinned Moose and he has beaten me. He kicked my ass. So I am looking forward to getting some revenge here. And this time, he doesn't get to take the easy way out. He doesn't get to possibly rely on a disqualification or someone helping him out. He has to beat me to take this title back. And hopefully that means something. And he said, because he's heard me on media say a couple different times in interviews that I do have to change my game plan up because I lost to him. But there's a reason I'm me and I've survived this long at 5'11", 190 pounds. Is because I evolve. I constantly evolve. I constantly live to outdo everybody else and outdo myself from the night before. There's a reason I'm an ambassador to this company, whether I'm the TNA World Champ or not, but I take great pride in being the World Champion. I want everyone to know that TNA, I am leading this locker room because I want everyone to be just that much better, and hopefully I'm rubbing off on them. Clearly the crowds are coming in. Clearly the ground was laid by Moose in the system to be bringing in the masses to the shows, to making fantastic shows, to everyone in the ring, people outside the ring, people behind the scenes. TNA is looking to be successful in every branch possible of this business. And every day we move one step closer. So we're looking to sell Victory Road out on Friday. Hopefully Moose's rematch clause here, it's official, has to go down. So we get this down. If he wins it back, he's 2-0, and I got to take a step back out of the main event scene and figure some things out. If I beat him, he's had his rematch clause and he's lost, and it's time to move on.
Okay, it's good to know. I mean, that's the bottom line of it. You're right, Moose. I want to start with you. You've been with Impact / TNA for several years now, and TNA has seen some great success. They're selling out shows, a lot of buys on pay-per-views and such. How proud are you that you are seeing TNA get the success that they're having now, especially now that you've been rebranded as TNA for quite some time now?
Oh man, I'm very proud, especially being one of the guys who's been here the longest, at least consistently. I've been here when we was in the basement, man. We were low, and now we're making our way up to the attic. That's what I like to say. And yeah, I'm happy at the roster we have. I'm happy about coming in using TNA instead of going to other companies that offer them great money. Um, I'm happy for guys like the Hardy brothers coming in and get, those guys getting more eyes on our product. And I joked about it on the last interview that I said where Nick brings them in and I keep them, but I mean it in a way where guys like Nick and who has a huge following, guys like the Hardys who have a huge following, they bring their fans with them from other companies they've been in. And when they get to our product, they get to see guys like myself and Josh Alexander and Jordan Grace and Joe Henry and some of the awesome talent that we have shine and do their thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And Nic Nemeth, so
yeah, it's great. It's been fantastic to watch TNA do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's a whole roster effort. Obviously, it started by Nick and the Hardys, but we play our part, and I think we're doing very well as a team going through this change.
Yeah, and it's a great roster as well. Nick, I want to ask you. So you were released from WWE. It's almost a year to the day.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, it was at least according.
No, that seems wrong. I think
September 2023.
Dang, I'll take your word for it. All right, okay.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask you,
close,
because since then, not only are you now the TNA World Champion, you were the IWGP Global Champion in New Japan. You held the Mega Championship Triple A. What's the biggest lesson that you have learned about yourself since you were let go by WWE?
There isn't really lessons. I had no friends in the business and didn't know guys like Matt Cardona and Brian Myers in the past that have been blazing their own trails, whether they're at TNA, at a different company, or completely doing their own thing. So because I never worked independence before WWE and just came in as a fan who had wrestled in college, I would be very shocked to be like, what do I do here? You have to take everything into your own hands. Do you get an agent? Do you want to be hands-on yourself? Do you want to go, I'm going to decide everything that I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's my goals. My goals were this. I wanted everybody to know that not only was I as good as I said I was, but I could also, without anyone calling the shots but me, I can not just be good and steal shows. I can win championships, and you can put a company behind me. And it's like, I feel like they knew that already, but they never saw it in practice. So it was only fair. I go, I owe it to myself. I think I can do it. I think I can do it legitimately. Main eventer, world champion, till I'm 50 years old, barring any unforeseen incidents. And then it becomes almost like, well, how good can you be? How injured can you be and still fight for it? Whatever. But I got a 5-year window that says I can still be a genuine world champion no matter where I am and what roster, and fight it. And I can knock somebody out. I can tap them out. I can beat them on the mic. I can beat them backstage. I can go do media and talk about stocks and bonds and politics and everything else, pop culture. But most importantly, I know that nobody's going to outwork me in the ring, and no one's ever going to make me tired. I'm never going to not kick out of something that I can possibly do. I'm not going to give you 99% out of 100. You get 100%. And my Cal Ripken-esque streak in New York will never, ever be topped. People kind of gloss over this. No one will ever have that. I think in 19 years, 19 and a half years at WWE, there is 3 or 4 TVs that I was unavailable for. In 19 and a half years. There's nobody that will ever do that again. There's nobody that's ever been close to that in the past. Nobody, period. I beg you to find someone. And not only did I have to show up every day, I wasn't showing up and getting patted on the back and going, hey, great job, champ, you're winning again. This was me fighting from underneath, not being able to talk half the time, and most of the time losing matches to people I was 10 times better than that. So it forced me to go, the more I'm there, the more I'm going to change their mind. And I got to a certain point where I said, I need to let the rest of the world know that I can still do this no matter what the wins and losses are. And it's not getting better here. Please let me leave and go try elsewhere, just because I need to do this to be able to sleep at night. And it's as much for me to proving myself to the fans, but it's mostly proving myself to me. And as the champion, I don't ever want to lose it again, ever.
Yeah. I mean, I've followed, both your careers, obviously. Nick, I've followed your career in WWE as well. I was always impressed with you every time you went out there. Moose, I wanted to ask you because, for the bulk of your time in TNA, you've been kind of a solo act. You may have a manager or something, but you've been kind of just you. Now you've got yourself surrounded with the system, with Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards and Alicia and such. Why surround yourself with the system now?
Man, it's just me being around my friends, man. Everybody that knows me outside of the wrestling world knows who one of my best friends is, and that's Eddie Edwards. It's been shown on TV world and off TV. We're just that close. And the last couple of years, I got to get close with Brian Myers, and they put us in a tag team, and we realized we had so much in common. So me forming a system was honestly just me wanting to be around my friends.
Okay.
That's all the system is. It just happens that my friends are the greatest wrestlers in the world.
That makes enough sense. Nick, I want to ask you something that, again, I've watched you forever. You have a very 80s hairband style of the look, the entrance music and such. And I'm a child of the 80s. I grew up in the 80s. My favorite genre is 80s hairband music. Are you a fan of that genre? Are you a fan of just that era? Tell me about that.
I think it's a little bit everything. I dress that way. I'm stuck in the 80s. I liked it a lot. I'm a fan of Sunset Strip hair metal stuff. I'm trying to Motley Crue announced this morning that they're doing Troubadour and the Whiskey and something, 3 little shows, but you got to line up outside this coming Saturday to get tickets in hand for a couple big shows. So I'm already working on paying my brother to go wait in line so he can grab me 2 tickets. We'll see how that goes. I have to work. But yeah, of course, that's it in my style. And I eventually, I was wearing, I started switching my gear towards stuff that like Motley Crue would wear, Vince Neil would wear, Bret Michaels, Stephen Pearcy from Rat, big fan. Being called the Wanted Man was taken in theory from a badass Rat song that I love, Wanted Man. And I found, I love that song and I love those guys. And I had downstate, I go, hey, listen to this song here. Can you create something that is not anywhere near this, but along the genre of this kind of rock and roll? Because this is what I want, something special that goes out. It's, very Rat, very Motley Crue, very Steel Panther. And they go, this isn't our wheelhouse, but here's the best part for me. Our dad listens to that music. So yeah, it should be easy for, and I was like, all right, great. Thanks. I get it. I'm old, but it was funny. And they made this fantastic song. It rocks. It's totally different than Wanted Man, but it's still Wanted Man. And I love that. And I go, that just really meant to be the day I left New York. I got all these phone calls that said, can we get you here? We want you here. And I go, damn, I'm a Wanted Man. All right. This is pretty good. And so that's it. I got a crew that we all go to the Motley Crue shows. I go to everything. I go cover bands, you name it. I am currently wearing stonewashed jeans and a sleeveless t-shirt. Usually it is a sleeveless black shirt, and it was Kiss this morning. And I just switched it to this for the second half of the day. So yes, that is my entire wardrobe is squishy, retro, sleeveless black t-shirts to go with my stonewashed jeans. And usually my, flat ironed hair for the show. Yeah.
I love it. I got to actually talk to Vince Neil. He showed up for F1 Formula One race here in Austin several years ago, and he and I talked in the paddock. It was great to visit with the lead of Motley Crue, and like I said, I love Hair Nation is always on my radio whenever I'm in the car, so I get you. Speaking of which, I got
Hair Nation, same, yeah.
What speaking of Sirius XM, what's it like being a part of Busted Open?
It rules. It's awesome. Everyone on that team is awesome, loves the business. And there's so many people that just want to they're so good at it and they want to give back and they want to have pointers and they want to book like, here's how I would have done it. Here's a different way to go. And everybody is so good on there. The only part when they offered a job to me, I said, hey, listen, I famously do not watch wrestling. And they're like, don't worry, we'll figure it out. We just like that you have this 20 years of experience and you're currently in the ring. And it just gives a different point of view as to someone who's not currently wrestling and kind of behind the scenes, maybe like a Mark Henry or Tommy Dreamer who are behind the scenes and doing things like you get this actual current bouncing around the world champion guy. So hopefully I provide a unique perspective. And most of the time it's, just poking holes in people's theories and just saying, well, yeah, that's a great thing for a fan to say. But in reality, behind the scenes, here's how it would really go. And it's nice to be able to offer that, whether I've been in TNA or WWE or independents around the world. So I love it. Every once in a while, I do have to watch some wrestling so I can get my pointers on it. But, the big shows and the big stuff, I look forward to it because wrestling is in a really hot time right now. It's very cyclical. It goes up and down, and sometimes everybody's down and nobody's going to shows. Right now, TNA is crushing it. And a huge part of that is Moose and laying the foundation of this new era in TNA, crushing it. And now it's my turn to hopefully turn it up another notch and get some more sold out pay-per-views, get some more sold out Impact tapings. That's why we're looking so much farther than just this Friday when we're going to beat the hell out of each other for this title, because that's what it means to us. Saturday, we got to back it up right away again the next day and go, here we go again. So we're really hoping that this is not just a great town for wrestling, this state, like, man, Von Erichs, Freebirds, old school dudes that I look up to. Michael Hayes, who was one of my mentors back in New York, told me so many stories, and I love it, even about his buddy Herb out here. It's an inside thing that just helped me out with some stuff. And it was just, there's so many different cool ways to go about wrestling right now as a fan. 7 days a week, some weeks it's on, and it's good and it's different. I love that. I love that for us. I love that for the fans.
I agree. And Dave LaGreca, I've known Dave LaGreca for over a decade. He's a great friend, and he and I have covered Super Bowls together. And of course, he's been on my show. I've been on his show. It's wonderful. I love it. Let's talk about this Friday night. This goes back to Slammiversary. Moose, you were the champion at the time. There was a 6-way elimination match. You got pinned, but it was by Joe Hendry, who was then subsequently eliminated. And then, Nick, you won the title, pinning Frankie Kazarian. Like you said, this thing's been brewing for a while. Moose, you kind of stated your, I guess, outlook for Friday, at the start of the interview, but just talk about what it means. Like you said, you're 2-0. Nick hasn't pinned you yet.
Oh yeah, Nick hasn't pinned me in. I had the satisfaction going to this match knowing that we've had battles and he hasn't pinned me. He hasn't gotten the job done. Yes, he is world champion, but in my eyes, the real world champion is Joe Henry, because that's who pinned me. And I'm the man that always says to beat the world champion, you have to pin him, and Nick never did it. So. With that being said, I'm gonna go in there Friday night and take what's rightfully mine, which is a TNA World Champion, and I will be known as the full-time TNA World Champion.
And Nick, you as you said it, you haven't pinned Moose yet. You did win that title. You've had a couple title defenses leading up to this. Now you're gonna face Moose. Just give me your thoughts on what that's going to mean to finally have the two of you face to face in that ring there in San Antonio.
It's going back to the very first night I showed up in TNA. I showed up in TNA because I liked what they stand for. I loved the main event that I saw at Hard to Kill, and I saw Moose as the champ, and I said, I don't know if it's now, I don't know if it's later, but you're the man here, and that's why I'm kicking your teeth down your throat to let everybody know. If the man's got to watch out for me, everybody's got to watch out. So we've had this match, but it was slightly different stakes. We've had it to where he was the champ and he could always get out of there with the system having his back or a disqualification. But now he has to get this back and become what he said, a 4-time champion. He has to take it from me. And I've been very fortunate and unfortunate, because there's ways where you're like, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Sure. And I don't get injured, and I don't take days off, and I don't miss shows, and I don't ever walk away. And in the past, that's hurt me because you see me too much. But in this case, I go, man, I'm a world champ. I would be the ambassador for TNA because I love this roster anyway, and they're kicking butt no matter what the case is. But I get to do this as the world champ. I get to do this media, hold that title, and you better believe that it means something to me. It means something to the fans. Hell, it means something big to Moose. So I know what that means to us. I know that we get to throw some barbs back and forth and do our media and go through our first pitch and bounce around town and let everybody know about TNA. And we are, and I'm happy to just promote this brand and this roster. But when it comes down to the match on Friday, I'm going to punch him in his face and kick him in his face as hard as I possibly can, because I have to. I have to let everyone know I'm the champ now, and not just the champion. I'm a fighting champion who puts it on the line more than probably Moose did in my couple of months than he did in a couple of years. But there's a difference between us. I know what it takes to be and stay champion. So does he. I know what it takes to get people in the door at TNA. So does he. But I know how to fix mistakes and evolve. And that is where his downfall will be. He's a little too cocky. He's a badass, but he's a little too cocky. And almost in wrestling, I almost applaud it. But if you don't come out on top on Friday, you are done and you go to the back of the line. And I don't know how he's going to see to be able to like handle himself at that point.
Okay, there you go.
I honestly, I laugh at that because you could tell, like Nick said, that he doesn't watch a lot of wrestling when he took that job. For him to make a statement that I don't evolve. I mean, my whole 9-year career has been me evolving. And anybody who watches TNA knows that about me. But we'll find out Friday.
Okay, we will find out Friday. These two men will face off for the TNA World Championship Friday night at Boeing Center at Techport. TNA Victory Road, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Get your tickets, etix.com, or if you can't be there, TNA Plus to watch it all. Moose, Nic Nemeth, before I let you go, Nick, it is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, so I got to ask you, as a proud Cowboys fan, what happened to your Browns on Sunday?
I don't know, man. I hate saying there's always next year when it's week 1. You know what I mean? That really bums me out. I
know.
It's ride or die. We've been with this team, me personally, since 85, since I was about 5 years old. And we had a good run in 86, 87. It's been hard. It's hard on the city. It's hard on everyone. I don't know. I don't know why Deshaun Watson did not play in the preseason any snaps at all. I understand that we have some hurt guys on the offensive line. I love Njoku, and I just found out that he might be out for a few weeks. He's our guy. He's our franchise tight end. And that defense rocks, but they can only do so much. I love Cleveland. I'm wearing a Guardian shirt right now. Everything I own is Browns. Got my Kent State hat on. I'm all over for Ohio and Cleveland and the Browns, and we are rooting for them every step of the way. But after next week, if there's nothing positive there, and then I hate week 2 with 15 weeks to go. Going, there's always next year. Cleveland deserves more, and to the fan base, they really do, because they've been so patient for 30 years here. The most quarterbacks, I think, ever in the last, 20 years. We have like 68 or something really funny. And just Cleveland deserves it as a fan base. They deserve to have a good, solid winning team. I don't know how to do that. I hope Watson comes out of the gate next week a different person. I haven't seen that once yet. I hope that is the case. We got Chubb, who's such a badass, but we don't have him till week 5. I know this is all boring stuff to you, Moose, but listen, this is my life. We got Cleveland here. I'm fighting here. I don't want the only world champions to be LeBron, Miz, and myself from Cleveland. We want the Browns to win one. So we're rooting for you, Cleveland, no matter what. And congrats on you guys padding all your stats last week.
I'd say, yeah. And Moose and I have talked football many times in the past, so I get it. So Moose, Nic Nemeth, have a hell of a match on Friday night. Looking forward to seeing it. Best of luck to all of y'all, and we'll talk again soon.
You got it. Don't forget, Friday night is Victory Road, but Saturday night, right back in the same spot at the Boeing Center, you get Impact Live, and you get all your favorites, plus the meet and greets Friday nights and Saturday nights. Go check it out, TNAWrestling.com.
There you go. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, buddy.